I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about, were we codependent? Tell me.
This?
You know, and I need to know what you think,
Well,
if we were.
You need to think for yourself.
No, just tell me.
I can't just tell you.
I can move on if you just tell me.
Oh, you're so codependent.
You know, codependency gets talked about a lot more, especially as social media has spread, and there's a lot more people out there talking about, like a lot more therapists out there sharing advice and wisdom. So codependency is a big buzzword.
It is. It is.
And so what is codependency? We're going to talk about it today because many of us were in a situation where we were codependent and more reliant on the other person than is maybe healthy to be. So, you know, when you think about codependency, what would you say? It's like kind of like somebody that you're attached at the hip, right? You heard that phrase. They're always attached at the hip. They can't go anywhere without the other one.
Right. Or it's that one friend that you're seeing over time slowly disappears from the friend group because they just got into a very serious relationship. You know, when you're seeing less and less and less and less of them.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people think of that.
Yeah. And you'll even see some friends that get to the point where they don't do anything anymore. Like once they're in a relationship, that's it. That's their life. They don't spend any time with friends and family anymore. They completely invest in the connection and they kind of forget about everybody else. And that's not healthy. You got to have some balance.
Right. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're in that type of a situation until some time and space has passed. And so with this video, we want you to reflect on your past relationships to see if there were any codependent traits that may have come up, or if you're noticing that you are currently in this situation yourself. Yep.
So what is it? What is codependency?
Codependency is a term that actually originated from the substance abuse treatment field. And so it used to be specific to somebody who is dating someone who has a substance abuse issue or in a relationship with that person. It could be enabling a partner who is, you know, in an active substance abuse issue. Sometimes that person can be a barrier to their partner's treatment because they will even defend their partner's addiction.
Crack's not that bad.
That's a way to defend it.
It's not that bad.
Who needs teeth?
Who needs teeth?
I mean, it could be situations like that. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You know, minimizing your partner's issues or how they treat you, their addictions. In the past, it used to be more specific to substance abuse. Now the term has broadened to mean someone who is highly dependent on their partner, who really can't function without their partner. Sometimes this can also mean isolating from the rest of the world, just you and your partner, a different level of enmeshment with them. So something that originated from substance abuse, meaning now something greater, something to where you could be enabling your partner with different behaviors. Maybe it isn't crack. Maybe it is something completely different that you are defending your partner with, and anything that threatens that relationship, you fight against.
Yep. Yeah. So it's not a healthy situation to be in. And it can be tough to see it that you're doing it because it feels too comfortable to be in that situation. Like it just feels, oh, this is what I like. I like to be in my little corner here doing this thing with this person, spending that time with them. And so you might not realize it that you're doing it. But there are some things that you could look for, okay? If you lose your sense of self and your kind of identity, who you are, what you like, what you enjoy doing, just to spend time with that person, that's a sign that you're codependent on them. Like Are you giving up all the hobbies and interests that you had prior to meeting this person, or your friends and your family, just to be with them? That's a big one. Giving up some freedoms. Maybe you have a partner who's more controlling, and they say, oh, I don't want you to go to that. I don't want you to do those things anymore, or that thing anymore. And it's something you enjoy, but you don't want to upset them. You don't want to make them angry at you. You don't want them to leave you. So you give up that freedom. That's another big one. If your priority and your focus is only on that person. I remember years ago, Margaret talking about a client that only would speak in turn. You know what I'm going to say?
Yep.
Well, so-and-so, how are you doing today? Well, so-and-so is having a great day today. But what about you? And it was so extreme that literally whatever you asked them, they would reply with, well, so-and-so. If their name was Harry, they'd be like, oh, well, Harry just got a promotion at work, so we're doing great. And you remember, because it was so extreme that Margaret would bring out this one particular client all the time.
Yeah, and then she would say, no, really, how are you? I don't want to hear about, your partner anymore, please. I just want to hear about you.
But they got into it so deep, they couldn't even see that anymore.
Yeah, and this is something that happens. You start to take on your partner's mood, their emotions, their experience, and it becomes your own. You almost over-empathize with someone and take on their issues as your responsibility.
Yes, exactly. Where it's such an obvious attachment to that other person that it's like basically you've given up who you are, what you love, your own enjoyment in life, just to have that connection with them.
And I will say that there are levels to this. So there is something called dependent personality disorder. So it could be as extreme as something that is embedded in someone's personality. And, these types of things need treatment to be able to gain that independence and to function on your own. It can also be situational. With a certain partner, you become more codependent because of that situation. Could also be tied to a trauma bond, an abusive relationship situation. And it's important to remember that for someone who is codependent, they have their own unique set of issues and things that they have to deal with. There's a whole separate segment, just going back on the substance abuse circles, there's a whole separate, support group just for partners of people who struggle with addictions because their challenges are unique too.
Yep.
So wanted to bring light to that.
One more thing that you want to consider are a lack of boundaries, where there's so much enmeshment going on between the two people that one person isn't able to say no or stand up for their thoughts or their beliefs or their feelings because they don't want to upset this symbiont connection, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in more extreme cases, I know I had mentioned before, if a partner has other issues that they're dealing with that you are enabling because you're codependent, it can go as far as you blaming yourself for your partner's issues. We had talked about taking on responsibility for someone else's problems. So sometimes we can blame ourselves. Oh, our partner's struggling with this because of something I did or something I said.
Or didn't do.
Right, exactly. And it can also mean protecting them instead of protecting yourself in times that you need to. So defending your partner's harmful behaviors, even if those harmful behaviors are towards you. So that can be very codependent. In our earlier video, we were talking about people who stay in abusive situations. And sometimes in certain roles, like the caregiver role, like the rescuer role, a person will have a tendency to go above and beyond, even for someone who is hurtful to them. That definitely happens in codependent relationships too, or it can happen, to where you're recognizing, okay, some of these patterns are not healthy. We need a certain level of space here for me to be able to be my own person. But, that line is so blurred. You even go as far as caring for someone who's hurting for you in times where it's completely inappropriate.
Yep.
It can also look like defending your relationship against any threat. It can be so hard to see a friend be in a super enmeshed codependent relationship because you might want to shake them and say, where did you go? I'm losing my friend to this relationship. I don't know how to help you. I want you to have your life back. But if a person is inside of this enmeshed system, they're going to see anything that threatens it as something that's going to break them apart, something that threatens their safety. So sometimes it can become so intense to where we see any outside influence as a threat. Yeah. And I do want to note that codependency is different from independence. Clearly, where two people are completely distant from each other and don't depend on one another at all. This can look like a relationship between two avoidants, where they're completely doing their own thing. They don't really interact. They don't really, use each other for support in a healthy way. Sometimes that can be called counterdependence too, where people lack trust in one another. So they're countering, almost like two magnets repelling. And very different from the healthier version, which is called interdependence. The ability to be independent when appropriate and the ability to rely on your partner in times of need. I'm finding that balance between self and couple, self and together.
Sounds like it should be a movie. Independence Day.
Interdependence Day.
Interdependence Day.
I would watch it.
Why not? Together, or is that too codependent?
No, separately.
Okay.
But we can, on Netflix, I'll call you.
Okay.
Be watching it from the other side.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I feel like that's enough
Does
space.
that sound good? I'm not sure. You let me know.
Hitting
you have to let me know.
satellite
I'm too
space.
codependent to know on my own. Is it okay? Should we do it?
No, we'll decide later.
Okay. If you're going through a breakup in particular, you might be realizing that now after this breakup that you don't have a support system anymore because you spent so much time with that person and you gave up your other relationships. You neglected all those other relationships that you had previously, and now you're feeling kind of even more isolated and alone. But it could be a real wake-up call to be like, oh, wow, I don't have really any friends to spend time with because I gave everything up to be with this person. Mm-hmm. Another big thing that you might see is that you or your ex is resentful. Okay? Why? Because one of you or both of you gave up so much, too much, and overcompromised your desires or your enjoyments or the things that you like to do or maybe your goals to satisfy the other person, and you get so angry it builds up over time where you're like, you know what, they get fed up, I gave up going to school because you said, this would happen and that would happen and nothing ever happened with it. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful about giving something up that you're interested in or that you care about for another person.
Exactly. And what's ironic in all of this is that a lot of times our codependence can actually end up in a breakup. You want this thing really badly, you want to be connected by the hip, you want to crawl inside someone's skin and be that attached and that close to someone.
Like a little kangaroo in a couch, in the pouch.
Yeah, you just feel so attached and so close and you want to stay that connected and enmeshed with this person. But the stronger you hold on to it, then the more suffocated the two of you start to feel. Yeah. Like Craig was saying, that resentment builds up and it's just not a healthy outcome. And so interdependence is the thing to strive for, and how to get there is working on your individual tendencies to be codependent, working on your attachment style. We always go back to attachment. And those who have a more anxious attachment style are more likely to fall into this type of dynamic with a partner.
Yep.
So being aware of that, trying to find out what caused this in the beginning, origins, childhood experiences. Maybe you have a very enmeshed family. This is how you see love,
Yep. And the creative healing course particularly goes into more depth and details and stuff like this that can really help you work through it to get more confident and secure so you're not so dependent on the other person that you're dating.
Right. And I want to be clear here that dependency, being dependent on a partner, is not a bad thing. We are human beings. We need each other to survive, to thrive. Connection is extremely healthy. It's when we're crossing the line into codependence, when we are starting to lose our sense of self, when we are starting to take on things that are not ours to take on, that it becomes problematic.
Yep. And if you don't do something about it, you could be in a situation where it ends a relationship. Okay? You don't see it especially in the beginning, because you're feeling like, oh, this is natural, it's normal, this is how the relationship should be developing. But over time, that person is probably going to feel smothered and trapped and end the relationship.
Exactly.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on our website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.